Hello, I'm going to go over 5 Excel interview mistakes that you should avoid. When you're testing in Excel, it's not always black and white. There's going to be certain ways you can prove to the interviewer that you are familiar and comfortable with the program. So I'm going to go over 5 common mistakes that people tend to make. So the first common mistake that people make is not knowing the Excel shortcuts. So a lot of times when you're being tested and interviewed, they're going to watch you as you maneuver your way through the questions. I'm going to go over a few key shortcuts that you should know going into the test. There's plenty of shortcuts that you can research and learn. However, these are the few that I think you should understand and be comfortable with going into the interview. So the first one is Control-C to copy and then Control-V to paste. You can right-click copy and right-click paste. However, it's a lot faster just to press Control-C and Control-V. The next shortcut is selecting data. So if you have a large data set, you can drag your cursor. If you hold down your cursor, you can drag and select your whole data set. However, if you have a large data set, this is going to take time, and during the interview there's a good chance that the data set is going to be big. So a way to overcome this is to use Control Shift and the arrow keys on your keyboard. So if you press Control Shift down, it will go to the last row that contains data within the data set, and you press Control Shift to the right at the same time, it will go to the last column in the data set. This is a lot faster than holding your cursor down and selecting the whole data set. So the next common mistake that people make is not presenting the data in a clean manner. And the interviewer may not be doing this on purpose, but they could be sending you or showing you the data in a very rough state. Maybe it's in the CSV format, or the columns are very small and narrow, or the header color might be a little off. So I'm going to go over a few examples and how you can clean it up. So let's say they give you the data set like this. Just spend a few seconds just to clean it up a little bit. Auto fit the columns, change the header color to something a little bit more presentable, and maybe change the number format, currency for example. And this looks a lot better than how the data was given to you, and it will make an impression to the interviewer. The next common mistake that people make is doing a manual calculation for a question that may warrant a formula. For example, the interviewer may ask you, hey, sum up all the purchase prices for purchases that were made with a credit card. Instead of counting manually or filtering and then counting, it's a lot better if you use a sum-if formula. And this kind of goes into the next common mistake that people make. The next common mistake that people make is not knowing the basic Excel formulas. If you know you're going to be tested, or if you're worried that they are going to test you, just make sure you know these at a minimum and you should be okay. So the first one is VLOOKUP. This is a very common formula that they'll ask for. The next one's SUMIF, COUNTIF, and the last one isn't necessarily a formula, but a lot of times they will ask for this. They will ask for an understanding of pivot tables. So as long as you understand these 4 basic features of Excel, you should be okay. The last common mistake that people make is not converting their data into a table. This kind of piggybacks point number 2 with bad presentation and formatting, but it goes a little further. When you convert your data into a table, it's a lot more reliable and it's a lot more consistent when you work with it. And the person interviewing you probably has a good understanding of Excel, and they will notice this. So as soon as you go in and you see data and it's not in a table, make sure to convert it to a table. So you do this by highlighting data, clicking insert, clicking table, and if you selected the headers, make sure this is checkmarked and press OK. This way when you work with it, there won't be any silly mistakes. Thank you for watching. I know interviews can be a little daunting, but as long as you follow these points, you should be okay. If you want to prepare yourself a little bit more, I have a download link of this specific data set down below in the description box. It's just a link to our website and you can do a free download there. So just work your way around it, watch this video a few times and just become really comfortable with these points and you should be okay. Good luck guys, and thanks again for watching.